So I was with my brother a while back and we were in London's Carnaby Street G Shock boutique when we saw this watch. He paused in front of it just a little bit too long and I knew I was not going to let him get out of there without buying it. Now he's kindly lent it to me to check out and review. So it's a very blingy piece, it's pretty cool. I thought I needed to go where you find the cool people. So I went to Manchester's Northern Quarter, a real kind of hip area near me, and I thought, you know, let's go and give it a spin around there. So the AW-500 was Casio's first analgoue G Shock back in 1989, and now they've updated it in this full metal version. So I'm going to check this out in today's review. If you're enjoying this video, please do consider liking and subscribing. It really helps the channel out. Okay, let's roll intro and get into it. Right, welcome back to Wristwatch Adventures with me, Ray, adventures with affordable watches, and today we have the Casio G Shock AW-500-GD, full metal premium model here. Now, as you would expect of a premium full metal G Shock, we have all of the premium features, such as a full metal module with a screw-in case back. The module itself made in Japan, the 5640 module. This is tough solar and multi-band 6, so you will not need to change the battery and it'll be extremely accurate in terms of how it updates itself. So the case here, a lovely full metal case with a combination here of polished facets and brushed facets also. So we've got some vertical brushing here on the case, as well as on the lugs here with the G Shock protection, iconic logo there. The bracelet, again, premium feeling with solid links and a machined clasp. Now this is no shrinking violet, clearly it's a real blingy beast, isn't it, when we take a look at it here and I shine it in the light. It's pretty big. So in terms of its dimensions, 47.7 across diameter. Lug to lug, these lugs extend out quite far, although they do curve down. So that's 55.2. And in terms of its depth, pretty tall, it's 14.7. So this, really have a presence on your wrist. Now, if we take a look then at the features of the dial and the handset and so on. Now, the design here, I think really, it does scream to me early 90s. The original was released in 1989. In terms of the shape of these hands here, with their sort of drilled out, machined out aspects here. So we've got hour and minute hands there. We've got the small digital display with a kind of a green hue to the LCD screen. I'm not sure quite how that works with the rose gold coloring. I think I would have preferred maybe a slightly more goldy hue or even the grey hue to it. The indexes here, we've got some solid metal indexes. No particular interesting facets on them, but nevertheless this is a welcome presence. There's a 24-hour track here around the Rehort here, so that's quite nice to see as well. Some real thought having gone into this. When I look at the cutout here where the digital display is here, I'm not so sure about what they've done with the shape of the indexes here and how they've had to cut some of them but not others. That kind of bothers me a little bit to be honest. Now the light on this is quite nice, it's quite bright, although it is just a single LED here. It's really bright, and if we can see here, if I do it like this, it does really light up the whole dial really well in the dark. And it even it gives it a kind of a pinkish hue actually to the dial, which goes with the rose gold finish of this here. So that's rather good. Now, in terms of the functions then that we get on the digital display, there are some neat aspects to this. If you use the adjust button, if rather than holding it in, for the typical adjust functions for time setting and so on, if we just press it briefly, we can scroll through some different functions. So we can get day, date, month, we can get day, date and counting seconds, or we can get digital hour and minute time with counting seconds here. So that's rather nice. You can choose between 3 different displays here in terms of visible complications. With the mode button, we've got world time, which you can scroll through here. We've got stopwatch, we've got timer, which I think will count down from 5 minutes automatically, alarm, and back to the home time here. All right, let's get it on wrist then. I'll cut in some of those lovely shots that I took on location having coffee in Manchester's hip northern quarter. So on wrist, you can see on my 7¼ inch wrist that it has some real presence, but those long lugs there, they look okay because of the way that it angles down. It's all part of this harmonious round shape here. So that looks fine, it looks pretty good. Now the clasp then is a simple push in. There's no locking clasp here or anything like that. The action of it, you know, I mean, for a premium G Shock, it doesn't feel very substantial. It's the same kind of feel really as any cheaper Casio with the tinny folded links. So that's a little disappointing in terms of its action. Positives, I really love the hue of this, the polished and brushed facets of this rose gold case. The feel of the bracelet itself is really outstanding. I do like the way that this digital screen where you can scroll between the different visible complications, I quite like that. So that's wonderful. I do really love the fact that this is a proper screw-in case back. I have one of these on the other made in Japan Casio I've got, the GW-500-U. So I really do like that. It feels substantial. That's fantastic. In terms of negatives and things that could be better, well, if I'm honest, there are a few. First of all, this handset, although I accept it's very much of its time and a harmonious part of the design, it's not the best for legibility, let's face it. Overall, I think that's probably the main negative of this watch, because the other aspect of the timekeeping functions, the main purpose of this watch, is how small the digital window is here. You really have to get quite in close to see the functions there, to see the time on it. So that's a little bit of a shame. The indexes bother me, and the placement of this LED. I don't like the way it's offset to one side here, and I don't like the way that some of these have a bit cut out on here, these indexes, and some don't. That bothers me. But look, these are niggles, and I am a watch reviewer, so I will pick on things. Overall, I have to say that this is a pretty impressive piece. It's pretty cool. Yes, yeah, look at that. Yeah, I could look at this all day, and I think that's the main appeal of this. It really stands out. So yeah, overall then, this is a really premium feeling G Shock. I do feel that you get good value for money for what you spend. This is going to cost somewhere between £300 to £400 sterling here in the UK. And I think it is a good proposition for the money, because hey, it's a G Shock. It's going to last forever and a day. It's a really substantial bit of kit. It's a real talking piece. It gets looks and comments if I'm wearing this, and I'm really grateful to my brother for lending it in. Maybe I just can't pull it off. But yeah, a really cool G Shock. There we go. So thanks for watching until the end. Really appreciate that. Do consider liking and subscribing if you've enjoyed the video today, and I'll see you again next time at Wristwatch Adventures.